welcome back. So right now I am currently on my way up to the little house on the corner. I'm going to meet with my tenant to finalize everything, get the deposit, sign all of the paperwork, so that way we can go ahead and move forward. She's excited, I'm excited. So yes, guys, while we're on our way there, I think I want to go ahead and share with you guys the story of how we ended up acquiring the house. It's very, very interesting. And I'm actually going to go ahead and stop and get me a tripod, not a tripod, but a phone holder for this car. I'm using my mom's car to drive up there because it saves on gas. So I'm going to go and get me a phone holder for the car, guys. That way I can speak with you guys safely and drive as well. So I'll be right back.
I don't know how to love. I know I'm bound to fuck up. You better put your trust in God and never put your trust in us. I got a bank for love is when you working while they shine like the motherfucking sun. Love is when they treat you like two, but you really number one. What's love? You a leader just like Moses. You pocket all your feelings, even though you keep them open. And I know it hurt your heart. Gotta deal with all that fake shit. They say you the strong friend. I know you could take it. I wanna see you when you down bad. Where the fuck your friends at? They don't wanna be around that. Grew up in the church, you say your prayers when you going through. And you always say you good, so nobody checks on you.
I'm at Office Depot right now because I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the paperwork for the lease, and then I'm going to also look for I'm gonna look for a phone holder. I need a phone holder, so let me go ahead and look for that. Okay, guys, so I have purchased my what do you call this, my car mount, the mount for the cell phone, so I can speak to you guys. My way now.
In half a mile, take a slight right turn.
It says that the route may be affected by the hurricane, so we're gonna see, guys. I hope I don't have to turn back around because of a flood, so we're gonna see what it looks like. I didn't even realize it would have. I didn't think about that. To the house now. I'm set. I picked up the paperwork that I needed, and we are on our way. I've got my car mount. That way I can multitask in a more safely manner, and I'm not holding my phone and trying to record. So we are going to head. We have an hour and 19 minutes. So I kind of just started back from scratch almost. Not really, because it's about 2 hours to get to the house. So, but we are going.
Take a slight right turn.
And I want to show you guys a little bit on the way.
Take a slight right turn onto State Road 19 North.
Siri is so disrespectful sometimes. I heard you, woman. But yes,
For 54
we're
miles,
in the little town
straight.
right now. 54 miles on this road. I don't know, 54 miles, did I hear her right? 54 miles on this road. Why does this road feel like I'm gonna be on the main road and not the highway? But it says this way is the quickest. So we'll see, guys. We'll see what they're saying.
I might just hit it.
Alright, guys. So just to get, ooh, this sun is in my face, guys, but yes, just wanted to go ahead and go on the backstory about the little house on the corner, how it was acquired. So my boyfriend actually came up this way to look at another property. When he saw it, he didn't like it. It was kind of like a shack house, like a trailer house or so, and he just wasn't feeling it, said it wasn't for him. So he happened to ask the guy who was selling that house if he had another property. So the guy said he actually did just get another property that he purchased from an auction. So I'm not sure if you guys know about tax auctions. So basically a lot of people lose their houses when they don't pay the land taxes. So when you don't pay the land taxes on your house, you risk losing it to the government, and then the government can auction off your house to who's ever willing to pretty much pay the taxes on it. And then if they get it, obviously if there's anything else wrong with the house, you know, any code violations, you're responsible for that as well. Basically, the guy had that house that he just bought from a tax deed with his partner, and he was like, well, if you want to come look at it, you know. So he went to go look at the house. It was like, hey, you know, he called me and he's like, yo, this guy just showed me this house. It's a concrete house, you know, and it's sitting on like almost an acre. So the guy was only selling the house for $20K, guys. $20K. A whole solid house for just $20K. Mind you, the roof at the time, it did need to be done. There were, you know, if you watch my previous videos, you know that there was some work that needed to be done in the house, and we're still actually not finished renovating, you know, the whole house itself, but it's livable now. And, you know, I was like, well, hey, you know, $20K isn't much. At the time, I wasn't too like jump into it, let's get it, because I didn't see the house. He just called me about it. So he's like, well, you know, I want you to come see the house and tell me what you think. So we went up there. So he came back, and, you know, we got the money, and we said we're going to meet the guy. He's going to let me see the house first. So we go meet the guy up here. I finally see, and guys, I'm not going to lie, when I first saw the house, I fell in love. Like, I know most people, they may want glitz and glamour, and at first I was like, this is like so out here in the country, but it was a vibe, guys. Really, it was like a feeling. It was a vibe. It was like, oh my gosh, I could see myself living in this house. Like, I saw the yard, I saw the kids being able to play in the yard, I saw the yard space that we could, you know, have a garden and grow our own fruits and veggies. Like, those are the things that I saw when I saw the property. You know, I saw that the kitchen space was big. You know, I saw the renovation that could be done. I saw the extension of, you know, the building itself that we could do because it was sitting on so much land. So I was like, hey, let's go ahead. You know, it's fine. So we went ahead, bought it. Boom, we're thinking $20K. Yo, this is a steal. Right away, we start working on renovation. You know, we go get a new roof for the house. We put up the fence, and boom, as soon as we even did like a whole new AC unit. But as soon as that fence went up, that's when all the problems came. So we did hire a professional fencing company, and I was like, hey, should we get a forgot what do you call those county people that come out, and a surveyor? Should we get a surveyor out here to make sure the property lines are in order when we put up this fence? But the fencing company said, hey, you know, we're just gonna go off of the property markers. You know, we're just gonna line up the fence. So they were confident. They, you know, they said they've been in business for years. So we took their word and said, okay, you know, it all made sense where they were lining up the fence. You know, it didn't seem like it was blocking or cutting anything off. So they go ahead, put up the fence, and the neighbor behind us instantly starts making a fuss. Hey, you guys put this fence on my property. But at the time, my boyfriend was out there. My boyfriend was out there when they were actually putting up the fence, and the fencing company was showing her where the property markers are. So she's like, "Oh, well, I don't know what's going on, but that's not where they're supposed to be." So the fence ended up going up anyway. She seems like, well, she was like, "You could put up the fence, but don't block my bushes." Her bushes are like a big old thorn bush, guys. I don't even know if flowers grow on it, because I've been out here every season and I have yet to see anything grow on that thorny ass bush. But my boyfriend was trying to see if the fencing company could go around and not block her bush, but they said there was no way to put up the fence at the angle where it wouldn't cut off the bush. So, you know, we're thinking, okay, well, go ahead. They're following the property markers. That was probably our mistake right there. We should have probably just said, hey, let us get a survey. But we just went ahead and let them go, because honestly, where the fence went, there was really nowhere else the fence could have gone, because there's a well house, because that house uses a well. So there's a well house, and literally if we were to follow her route, it would have cut off the well house, and the well house is for our house. It has nothing to do with her property. Now, this became sensitive because the property we bought was actually her mother's property that she lost for not paying land taxes. So it was actually her brother who the mother left. It was both properties. So the mom owned both of the properties, and she left one half to the brother and one half to the daughter. Her brother never paid his land taxes, so that's how they end up losing that part. So I guess it got personal at this point, because she was already mad, you know, that was her mother's house. So she went and I guess relayed it to her boyfriend. So probably like a week later, my boyfriend gets a phone call, and he's like, hey, you know, I don't even remember what the guy's name was, but he's letting her, you know, he was like letting him know who he is, that he's the boyfriend of the lady. So he was like, yeah, you guys put up the fence in the wrong area. So my boyfriend was like, no, the fencing company went off of the property marker. So he's like, nah, y'all gotta tell him take this fence down. And I don't know, but I think what happened, guys, is it ended up being two male egos. And I swear, male egos are like the worst, because my boyfriend has a very bad ego. This guy obviously had a very bad ego, and I really felt like this situation could have been resolved a little bit differently. But because both of them ended up getting in an argument, and it became, oh, call your lawyer, I'm gonna call my lawyer, that's where everything went south. So we went ahead and ended up having to hire a lawyer. The lawyer, you know, lawyers are expensive, guys. Lawyers are expensive. Let me show you. Okay, so this fence is the fence that was causing all of the issues. I'll go ahead and show you guys. So this is the well house right here with the broken doors. And this is where the fence company had the fence. We literally ended up putting the fence back at the same area that it originally was. Now, she had some bushes right here that we ended up cutting down, because there was no way for us to leave the bushes where they were without cutting off the well house. So there was no way for us to put up the fence, give her bushes, and not cut off the well house. And the fencing company told us they couldn't slant the fence, putting it up that way. So here she says, so as you can see all of this land. Then there was the argument that the property lines that you see, that we saw, she said they were proposed property lines put up because they were going to cut off the properties. That way she could take out a loan on her house, because she couldn't take out a loan until they fixed the property lines, because since her mom owned both halves and this house was built before the county system was built, they never divided the property properly. So for her to get a loan, they needed to divide the property properly, and that's what those property markers were. So she's stating that they weren't originally supposed to be there, that the original property line was supposed to come all the way here, which would have cut off this part of the house, cut off the shed, and cut off the water well. So that was her argument, that she wants us to go ahead and move the fence all the way to right here and break our building down so that it's not on her property. So that's when things got a little messy and very costly. So we went to court. We ended up winning the case. So she ended up backing out of the case too early, because I guess the funding for her lawyer, and I think her and her boyfriend broke up, so she didn't have the funds. And that's where, you know, we end up winning. But we were gonna win anyway, because the lawyer was very confident that this case, you know, was partially the county's fault for not having fixed the issue. And it was just like, it's a lot of legal stuff. But long story short, always do a survey. Always do a survey and get it recorded when you're buying property. That way you understand when you're putting things up, no one can bring their arguments to you. You can just show them your paperwork or direct them to the, you know, nearest county office to go and check the records. Basically, I feel bad, guys, for her, because I don't think she would have made that decision to go to court if her boyfriend didn't hype her up. But he didn't stick by her, and in the end she ended up losing out on money, and she didn't get the property that she thought she was going to get. It didn't really make any sense for them to go any other way with it, guys, because there's no way we were going to be able to move the whole well house and cut off, you know, part of her already solid house. It just didn't make any sense that the court would have chose for it to go any other way. But yeah, that's just something to look into when you're buying property. And what's sad is we did offer her $15K to handle it outside of court and to pay her land taxes for the next 5 years. She did not want that. So now she ended up with nothing. Yeah, it's sad, but you know, that's life. I still do feel bad for her, guys, because I feel like she was hyped up. I don't even think that old lady really wanted to go to court, but she did give me a nasty attitude when I got in the courtroom, and she was like, oh, I didn't even know it was them that bought the house. I thought they were the workers. So everyone else was sweet to us in the neighborhood, not to like try to, you know, I don't even know if she's a racist or she was just upset, which I think, you know, I would be upset too if I lost some of my land. But at the same time, I would have to know it's my fault if I didn't pay the taxes. And it wasn't anything personal on our end, because it's not like we knew them and bought the property from them. We bought it from complete strangers who also didn't know them. But that's what happened with this house, the drama.